my STIHL KombiSystem trimmer. I'm going to do a review on it today. It's about 2 years old, and if you've done any research or you've seen these around, these are the ones that split in half, and they have the power head, which is the engine half, and you can switch out the attachments. I bought it just for trimming, and I mean, it's as easy as loosening the knob and you pull it out, and just like that. Here's the trimmer piece. It has a little drive shaft thing. But I mean, if you can put any attachment on here that they make. This is just the power head. It's relatively lightweight. This is the 94R, which they make a 131R, I think, which is a bigger engine. And that one's used for like the bed shaper attachment, the brush cutter, something you need more torque and horsepower to go through. But I chose the lightweight one because I'm just using it for hedge trimming, and in case down the road I do get something smaller, attachment wise, it'll work. So just like any old weed whacker, it's your standard controls. You can set the setting for where you want the throttle to stay stationary. But as you can see, one-handed, it's not that heavy. And you can come over here to the hedge trimmer. This is the one that pivots, which is very nice for if you're doing hedges, boxwoods that are up high. This is pretend like you're on the machine, and you can shape them like this instead of having to get up on the ladder if you have fixed trimmers and go up top like that. It's all about comfortability too, but this is, you can do it the other way. It pivots the other way if you're doing down low. Like if you're cutting weeds or something low lying, it works great that way too. The other attachments, you can, as simple as a weed whacker, you can put the weed whacker head on it and turn it right into a weed whacker. If you're a solo guy and you don't want like an edger, you don't want an edger with an engine, you don't want a weed whacker with an engine, you want one engine, you can switch the attachments. You start out on Monday, cut your lawns with the weed whacker attachment. By the end of the week, you're trimming, or vice versa, you can pop the attachment in. I was going to do the bed shaper attachment, but then I bought the bed shaper for the walker mower, which I think we're planning this weekend to make a video on that. That was just more useful for me for springtime when I'm shaping up the beds before you mulch them and whatnot. So I didn't need the bigger engine for this. Get the weed whacker. I think they make a tiller, a regular edger. What else do they make?
They have a
blower.
blower.
Brush cutter. There's a little blower attachment that doesn't really seem feasible. I'm not sure what that's for. On STIHL's website, you can see every single attachment that will. The bigger attachments will fit this. It's just the engine's not the biggest. It's not the next size up to spin the bed shaper. It'll work, but it's not practical. Like I said, it's 2 years old. I used it a lot, and I haven't done anything to it really. I changed the fuel filter in the fuel tank this spring. I didn't do it last spring. I've checked the air filter once maybe, and that's pretty much it. I've never even sharpened the blades until now, and if you get a close-up there, they're not in the worst shape. And we use this to cut down thick vines and just crap. It bangs into rocks sometimes when you're down low, but I'm actually gonna sharpen them for the first time today, which we'll get on video on how I like to do that. But you can see as easy as that, you can it just pops right back in, you tighten the knob up, now you're back to business. So just imagine a weed whacker attachment, you bang right back into business, ready to go cut grass. I mean, that's really it. There's not much else to show other than what it does and everything. I mean, I like to sharpen these with a Dremel, with a bit you can buy in packs from Lowe's or Home Depot. This one's a little worn down because I just did the handheld trimmers, but it's in the Dremel and it turns on. I like to sharpen it like that. I run all the way up a side, do one side, and then turn it around, do the other side. Same thing on this side, and then you flip it and do the same thing all the way up, and then get them razor sharp. And then boxwoods, it seems they need very, very sharp blades to make a nice clean cut on boxwoods. And especially you need a clean cut or else you're gonna mess up the people's shrubs. You can get disease and just little things can get into the plant itself once you're trimming it. Because technically, this is what I learned in school, is when you're trimming a shrub, if it's not, you're injuring the plant and it needs to be able to heal. And the way for it to heal is to have a nice clean cut. If you're putting jabs in it and little cuts and whatnot, it's not gonna heal. It could get a disease or something like that, like we just said. So that is key. I didn't need to sharpen these last year because I didn't really do much. No one really signed up much for shrub trimming last year, just a lot of other side work. So this is the first time I'm sharpening it. This is what it looks like after 2 years of hard use. And it's not really that bad. I could just notice it's getting a little bit dull the past couple jobs. So I'm gonna show you guys the first couple blades of sharpening it, and then we'll skip to the end of what it looks like when it's all done. Up close, down low here. So as you see a little bit here in the clips, it's pretty razor sharp now, so it'll cut a lot better. It took about 5 minutes to do this, both sides for each blade, and then the small trimmers was another 5 minutes or so. And the bits are very, very cheap. You see, it looks like this when you buy it, and it gets worn down to this. They're only about $3 for a pack of 2, so I think it was $6 to sharpen these up. Probably wondering 2 things. Why is your garage a mess, and what's all the water for? So we bought the water from our local supermarket for 99 cents for a gallon versus going to the grocery store, or like a deli in the morning or lunch. They're charging like $4.99 now for a gallon of water. And when you're drinking 1 to 2 of these a day, you're like, oh, what are you, cheap? No, it adds up. I think if you're doing like $10 a day, it's like $50 a week if you go to the deli and buy the water versus $10. And that adds up over the month. It could be a monthly payment on a piece of equipment. So little things like this add up. Food shopping is crazy, and people are wondering why is food going through the roof? Well, if food goes through the roof, we're allowed to raise our prices too in this business. $50 one is a minimum. Say you have a $40 one, you got to raise it $5. If they really complain that much, they're still going to the supermarket paying the prices, and they're not arguing. But that's just a little side note on here. But this is the workbench. It's always working on carburetors and engines and whatnot. So that's why this is so dirty. But I know where everything is in this garage. You might not think so, but there's the Skag windstorm right here. Just like a walk around. Just all Walker parts and spare tires that are ready to go. I park the excavator in here when I can to keep it out of the weather. And then there's that big hole in the wall. When I was doing the engine on my dump truck, it was in gear when I went to start it, and it jumped forward and punched a hole in the sheetrock, so stripped it down in the process of doing that. But all the tools and whatnot, the big air compressor, but that's not really the point of this video. The point of the video was this, how it is relatively lightweight. Even holding it up over your head, I like to, if you are up high, you can rest it on your shoulder. It's not very heavy at all, but that's the STIHL KombiSystem, the smaller model. That's pretty much it for this video. So if you liked it, you'll see this in other videos doing some shrub trimming. Trimming's kind of boring to watch in my opinion, so we'll maybe make a video of an extremely overgrown house of trimming, but just little bushes. It's not really worth showing that on film, but that's how I like to sharpen that, and that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching this video. Leave a comment down below and subscribe. Thank you.